We are on the cusp of pie's biggest holiday, but who's to say you can't enjoy it any other day? Chelsea Fairbourn is here with a sweet and savory pie roundup to add to your restaurant rolodex. I mean, pie is the dessert of the season, but you explored other ways we can incorporate. I love pie. I'm like, let me have it any way I can.
Right, and I think you might be unique to that because I'm a pie acceptor. But now I might be a pie lover after dabbling in like everyday uses for pie because it is attached to Thanksgiving, it is attached to dessert, but I tried to find some other options to weave it in, whether it's on the savory side, like a savory hand pie, or just a little pie flavor to get us through the rest of the year.
Well, I'm excited to hear about these ways you decided to incorporate this. What are we going to talk about? What's up first?
So we are going to hit James Gourmet Pies. So this is a great one. And if you are trying to find a pie to add to your arsenal ahead of Thanksgiving, which is only a couple days away, you should be ordering right now while we're talking. But James Gourmet Pie is based out of Ogden, but they ship nationwide. And they have a couple different vendors around the state and around the country that you can snag one of their buttermilk pies, their sweet potato pies, their traditional pumpkin pies. They have the large scale pies, they've got mini pies, and they do the classics so well. So it's tried, true, it's local. This is a really great option to add to your list if you want to try and squeeze in a pie before Thanksgiving or just to keep in the back of your mind for future events and hosting this holiday season.
I love pie. I love pie. I can't even tell you enough. So I'm so happy to learn about that. I didn't know about one in Ogden. We're stretching the definition of pie to include a pizza pie.
Yes.
What do you have for us there?
The Pie Pizzeria. Pie Pizzeria. We have to. This is a classic. And there's so many locations across the state, which makes this really accessible. I set out to try different flavors that I hadn't tried before. So I went with the Wise Guy, which might actually be my new favorite pizza. This is what we're looking at right now. It's got like a creamier base and tomatoes, balsamic vinegar, or like a balsamic glaze on top of it. I went with the Thai pizza, which is a little spicy for my palate, but I still loved it. So what's great about this is, again, we're stretching the definition of pie to include pizza, but the Pie Pizzeria in particular has so many amazing flavors and combinations that I wouldn't traditionally reach for that make it like another way to elevate your traditional pizza pie.
And I feel like I will try those unusual types of pizzas if it's like the wood-fired pizza, but I wouldn't think of it at the pie.
Yeah.
And you went for it, and
that's
it was
where you should go for
a payoff.
Yes, 100%. The Wise Guy, that's the hill that I'll die on. That's what I will be ordering forever and ever when I go to the pie. That was my new favorite.
Okay, you also have a couple of Salt Lake finds, and the first one, I can attest, I tell everyone about Pie Fight.
Pie Fight is so good, and the owner of Pie Fight used to come on Studio 5 pretty regularly, so I met her here, and she is so good, and I knew her for inventive flavors, which was the best part of this whole menu that we're seeing there. And they do hand pies, dessert and savory, and you really can't go wrong. I just let her kind of conjure up a mystery box of flavors for me. And on the sweet side, I tried, there was one with apple, there was like a white chocolate raspberry that was so good. And they're better heated up, so you can have them heat them up there, or you can take them home and reheat. And they're just the perfect, it's that puff pastry that is so light and flaky, and there's still so much flavor. This is one of the savory ones. I just dunked it in, I think it was ranch, and it was so good. You can't go wrong. And I think this is one of those areas where I don't traditionally think of pie or think of, oh, this is what I want for a quick like grab and go lunch. But when I'm on 9th and 9th, this is where I'm going to go every single time.
They have the absolute best hand pies I've ever had. And you can order online ahead because sometimes they sell out.
Yeah.
So if you know you're going to be in the area, this is what I do. I order online in the morning and then I just go pick it up.
Insider tip. I didn't even have to offer it. You're equipped. You're ready. She's Pie Fight's biggest fan.
Okay, so next up, Lone Pine Bakery. This was one of your favorites, you said.
This was one of my favorites, and I don't know how I didn't know about them until this week. So they're based in Sandy, and what's great about them is they actually provide a lot of the baked goods for other bakeries and restaurants around the valley. So you've probably had them without even realizing it. They make everything. So you can go in and shop the regular dessert fare, and they also have their pies. And their pies, you do have to pre-order. So if you're trying to get one for Thanksgiving, call right now. But their pies are house-made, homemade, right there in store. That's their key lime pie. So good. Perfectly tart, perfectly creamy, and their apple pie is probably the most aesthetically pleasing and tasting cake that I've ever, or not cake, pie, wow, a crime. Most aesthetically pleasing pie that I've ever seen. So these are, if you want to wow your dessert table, both in aesthetic and taste, this is the place to go. And they have a lot of other great staples there too. I left with a loaf of sourdough bread as well. I was very easily influenced by everything I saw.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either. That's a good location to try. Okay, and then closing us out, a sweet and savory classic. What did you love at the Crust Club?
Crust Club, I don't know how I hadn't tried their hand pies there either, but I had only had their big dinner pies. So they've got a drive-through in Pleasant Grove, which is amazing because now I can just pop on through. But I tried their gobbler hand pie and their BBQ mac, which was so good. So perfectly sized to just a quick grab and go while you're out and about. And then they also have mini dessert pies. You can get them in hand pies, you can get them mini sized or a full size pie. You would need to pre-order that if you wanted that for Thanksgiving. But I tried their raspberry cheesecake pie and it was also so yummy. So a great tried and true that we've known of, heard about for a while, but I hadn't experienced the hand pies until recently, and they're so good.
Yeah, and I'm not often in those locations, but knowing that they have a drive-through is a little dangerous for me.
It's like 10 minutes from my house, so I will be a regular now.
Okay, remind us where we can find more from you.
So Your Girl Needs Food on Instagram and online. I have a website now.
You have a website?
A website, yourgirlneedsfood.com.
Yourgirlneedsfood.com. Thank you, Chelsea. You always bring us great stuff.
Of course.